You know, I've done this video before now twice. I thought I did a great video the first time by myself, though. And the video, my phone died. And this time it really died. Like, I don't know if it can ever be resurrected. And there's a lot of stuff on that phone that I need. So, ended the year with a dead phone and no video. So the next night was last night. It was forced. Amy and I did a video. It was almost an hour long. And we were heading over to, we were going to supper on New Year's Eve. Come this way, you. We were going to supper on New Year's Eve. And she was, if you have to know my wife, right now, she's trying her hardest to keep a smile on her face because we're on our way to the barn. She wants to get there and get the horses watered and fed and hayed. Well, the horses are already fed. Just hay and water, checking all the horses because she's always in go mode, as I am. But I also know I'm a little bit older now, and I also know that I want to take things easy sometimes. I want to enjoy the snow. Look, I will.
That is a complete lie.
No, it's not. It's
timing. You haven't let me stay home for like the last 6 Sundays. We had to like go.
Hold on.
Christmas shop.
Oh, I know, but that's Christmas
like,
season. No. That's soaking up the Yuletide. That's soaking up the Christmas. You have to love. Like, it bothers me. I feel sad.
Yuletide? Like, how old are you?
I'm getting older. I told you.
48.
Thank you, Addie Bear. And I feel sad on Christmas Day sometimes because it's over. I love the lead up to Christmas. Now we're on January 1st. It's all over now. New Year. All the holidays are over. Now we are going away in 4 or 5 days with our immediate family and friends and stuff. We'll talk about the stable trip. I don't want to have. We'll talk about that later. I've told everybody I would love. It's weird. You know what? Maybe I'm weird, but
Christmas isn't until the 12th.
Maybe I'm
For you.
weird.
Well, the problem is that I would actually love to go away with our clients. Now, I had somebody say to me, he said, no, you're going to want to go on a cruise. But some people, I've never been on a cruise. I've always wanted to, but, you know, we always had 1 or 2 people in the group that just were adamant. They did not want to go on a cruise. So I'm like, I don't care. I'll eventually someday go on a cruise. But I know other people are like, it's the only way to go. And I don't know. I would love in April to go away with a number of our clients. It would take 80, I think. It would take 80 for it to be worthwhile. Anyway, that's another video for another time and another day. But I'm trying to train myself. And maybe everybody that gets a little older gets frustrated because they miss things, right? And I'm trying to train myself just to stop for a second. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the day. Enjoy the time with your family. Because regardless of how old you are, eventually you realize your family is getting older and will grow up and will be gone. Right? Gone to school, gone to live their lives. So I am trying to heed the advice of some of our older clients that always say, soak it all up because, you know, it's gone and you can never get it back. So that's what I try to do. And Christmas for me is just the best time of the year. All the way from that useless last day of October to the first day of Christmas season, which is November 1st of every year. So I did do a video I rather liked that I may never see again. And Amy and I did a video, but you have to understand, when my wife gets rushed, she gets anxious, right? And it's visible. It's visible to me. It's palpable. And I wanted to do a video where we could just relax. And because our family has become your family for the most part, and vice versa. It's always nice to ask I ask Ava, or Addie, she can't even remember anything, apparently. She's like, Dory. She's like, I don't even know your name. Addie Bear, do you remember one thing in 2024? So all last year that you liked. One thing? Where'd you do that? In Kentucky. No, we had no water slides in Kentucky. No, what did we see in Kentucky? Why did we go to Kentucky? I went there to race, and you went there to see what? The baby horses, you're right. And then we went to Michigan. Remember we were on the lake, and you were scared of the jet ski?
Yeah, like
Turn that off. Like what? You were scared of running out of gas? That wasn't going to happen. And Ava? 2024?
The Hulk ride.
The Hulk ride, yeah. In, where was that?
Yeah,
Universal?
first time I went on that, you guys were making fun of me.
I wanted to say that.
So 2024, the Hulk ride. Where is that? Universal Studios. Universal Studios. I went on the Hulk ride, right? The first time.
We all
It was
made
fun.
a volley and then it like shot out of the thing.
It was shit ton.
It's a family video.
You're always negative towards Florida, but that's.
I wasn't.
It
I'll
was
tell you.
fun.
So
That was
Amy's
fun.
partially right.
Actually, I had COVID and I still had fun. I still went on every ride.
No,
Remember
you
how
didn't
sick
have
I
COVID.
was?
Did you get tested? So you don't know if you had COVID. Actually, now that you say that, there's a number of people. I've had countless people message me over the last 2 weeks telling me that they've had a real trouble shaking a flu, shaking a cough. I know I've seen Jason and Carrie and Lauren have it. We had it for about 5-6 days. You had it a little bit longer. Addie had it for like 3 weeks. And it was a problem to shake. But for those of you out there that maybe are coughing right now, it does pass. I don't know what it's called, COVID or what. Who knows what it is. It does pass.
Remember, I couldn't go to your like little. You went there to speak.
Oh, right, you were sick.
Yeah.
That's right. We were in Florida because I was speaking at that thing, and that's right too. And you couldn't go. I remember now. So Ava, the Hulk ride. Anything else?
The jet skis when me and all I got stuck on
The jet skis. I loved Florida, to be honest. So I was going to say, when I was much younger, I went to the Daytona 500 one year, and I just assumed that it was hot. Okay, you. Shh. Yeah, thanks, Wikipedia. I went to the Daytona 5. I'm not a car guy, but I went. I was invited, and I went, and I froze to death. But then we ended up Ollie, shh, and then ended up shaking when I got home, and I believe I probably got sunburnt and frostbite all at the same time. Maybe some hypothermia. It was the most unpleasant experience I have ever had in my entire life on a vacation. And it put a bad taste in my mouth. So I was a little, but when it comes to Disney, I hate the crowds, right? And I hate crowds, you know that. What are you looking at me like that for?
Don't hate crowds.
That's the only reason I've only been to 2 concerts. And though I went to the one last year, so you
but
guys...
the Christmas crowd is fine.
Oh, that's different. If you don't like being surrounded by happy people in a shopping mall,
People
then
are not happy when they're shopping.
very happy. Everybody's
I'm
polite.
gonna write this down.
You should write it down. I do. Why is that shocking you? I've only ever been to 2 music concerts because it's not that I have a phobia. Oh my God, I don't like crowds. I just don't like being compressed into this gigantic group. So, and maybe it's just
And
flow.
that's how you felt at Florida.
Yeah, you're waiting in line an hour to go on the Hulk. Yeah, I don't like that. I want to be the guy that sneaks in the back and they're like, come on, Anthony, go jump on the Hulk. I don't want to sit in the lineup for an hour. The lineups are what I hate. So let me refine that. I have no problem with crowds. I hate the lineups to get in somewhere. The Hulk, like an hour minimum to get on the ride. One time that lasts 2 minutes. 20 seconds. So that's, to me, I don't like that. But that's the reason that I never wanted to go to music concerts, right? I don't like going to big sporting events because you got to wait in line and wait in line and wait in line. I'm an impatient person. It's an OCD. It just is what it is. But I did go to the concert. One of my highlights this year, aside from being with Ava and everybody in Michigan and in Florida, which I love. You know, my highlights, we're going to talk about the horses. My highlights are in this car. You know, watching these guys grow up, going to Michigan and Florida with Ava, going shopping with Ava because she's the only one that actually truly likes to go to the shopping mall, going to the movies with Ava. I think this year, 2024, was the first time that Ollie and Addie sat in a seat and watched a movie and didn't bounce around or fall asleep or just do stuff they shouldn't have been doing. So yes, Kentucky, Florida, Michigan, these were all highlights of my year too. But also going to the concert with Ollie. So I told you, you know, funny thing. So I'd only ever gone to, if you're not Canadian, you might not have ever heard of Blue Rodeo. They were downtown Toronto one time, and I had just had it in my head that I wanted to go see them play. It was the only first concert I ever went to, Amy and I went to. It was in, what was that amphitheater? It was It was red. I remember the whole place was red. It was a storied, famous place.
Dad, you went to one with me. You took me to that.
Yeah, but that was just the symphony in Guelph. Anyway, Amy and I went to Blue Rodeo. Amy got bombed. But
That's not what happened.
we went and had a lot of fun, and then it was, fast forward over a decade to the next time, and right before the pandemic, right when it was starting, I don't know why, but Amy got tickets for Elton John, and we were gonna.
Your Christmas present.
It was, and I thought it would be fun. And then the last concert he canceled, the first concert he canceled at the pandemic was the one we were supposed to go to. So, again, fast forward 5 more years. And, when I was growing up, I always remember the bands we watched when we were growing up. Hootie and the Blowfish. I was 19, living in a tack room. We talked about the tack rooms here. They were the Ritz-Carlton compared to the ones in Hazel Park. I stayed in a tack room in Hazel Park when I was working as a caretaker, and that's when Alanis Morissette came out, Hootie and the Blowfish. And I must have listened to that CD a million times. And I didn't even know that they were still singing together until a year ago. I heard that they were getting back together. And lo and behold, they're playing 20 minutes away from Brunswick, where we're staying. What's that place called, Lolly?
Blossom Music Center.
The Blossom Music Center. And it is beautiful. Well, I got to walk a long way. Huge property. And we were right down in front, and it was really, really cool. That was a highlight of my year. Watching Ollie play baseball, going to the movies, going to the States with the kids, and Amy, and just, this is all outside horse racing, right? So you understand why I love my job so much, is because it allowed me to do that. Then you factor in how much fun we had in horse racing, and it's quite a year. Been quite a ride. So Ollie, what about you, 2024?
We went to Gaylord.
You gotta speak up. Ooh, I forgot about that one. We went to the Gaylord place down by Oak Grove. Now the only problem with down there was that the track at Oak Grove is not kid friendly. They can't go through the grandstand. It's a casino. Say to walk around, and then on the front deck, it just wasn't kid friendly. I don't think it was ever made to be kid friendly, but I didn't realize it wasn't. But when we went 40 minutes down the road to Tennessee, and again, they said Tennessee wasn't really a kid town. The Gaylord place, oh my God, that is so nice. It's a long way. I mean, all in total from Ontario, I think it was 11 hours. From right here, it was 6.5? Is that right? Or was it 8?
I think it was 8.
I think you're right. It was 8. But it
We
was.
stopped in Cincinnati.
That's right too. I would definitely go again with the kids, but I want to stay for a few more days. We got a deal on it because it is amazing. Very, very nice place. I would definitely go there again. That would be a vacation destination, actually. When I think vacation, I think Jamaica, right? Or one of the islands, Caribbean, somewhere warm. But truthfully speaking, that place right there, vacation for sure. So that was mine. Amy? Or Ollie, any more?
We stopped at the Great Wolf Lodge in Cincinnati.
Yeah, stop the Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah, when we were driving, there was a trucker that had
You had
He had a little toy car like.
Oh, that's right too. He had a toy truck on the back. Yeah, he was actually on Facebook. That guy, I saw him on Facebook. So what else? What about baseball?
I don't really like talking about
Why?
it. You know what happened?
Made it to provincials.
You made it to provincials. Yeah, okay. So you gave up the winning run. What are you gonna do? You also got there. I'll tell you something. Losses are learning experience. Also, turn that off, Adeline Hope MacDonald.
I didn't say you could turn it off.
You know what? I've lost a lot more races than I've ever won. And, anytime you lose, you still learn a little bit from it. And hopefully you're put in that position again this year, and you can do better. Don't think for a second that Sidney Crosby never hit the post, right? Peyton Manning never threw one through the back of the end zone. Happens to everybody. So, but it was exciting. The entire time was exciting. The entire year. What about you, Mrs. MacDonald?
Just happy to be here.
No, you're not getting off that easy.
I don't know.
your highlights. Come on.
I would say Florida.
Florida?
Because they had fun.
Yeah.
I usually have fun when other people are having fun.
That's right. That's right. But what fun did you have?
Oh, man.
This is about you also. It's called dead air. You're gonna have to move a little
I
quicker.
don't know.
You know, like one when your
What?
dad made us go down that giant water slide thing at Florida where there's like a boat and we sat and like our clothes got soaked.
Yes.
That was fun.
Because you wanted to see if we would get wet.
It's true, and you did. Yeah, it was great. Come on, what else? What did you do? Yeah, you were there. Welcome to the conversation.
Ran into the wheel.
Oh, that was the best. My mother on a scooter would be like me on a Harley, and the accelerator gets stuck, and she ran into a guardrail. I nearly died. That was hilarious. I wish they
the
had that.
funniest was with the hot dog guy said it.
Oh yeah.
So try not to wreck.
Try not to wreck the place. The hot dog guy turned around, just as calm and cool and collected as you wouldn't believe. Looked right at her and said, "Try not to wreck the place." Okay, what else?
I don't
You're slow. Let's go. You listen to everybody else.
I spent a lot of time in Ontario with Ollie, so I didn't get
Yes.
to go to everything like you guys did.
You had your own memories, though.
Watched a lot of baseball.
Did you?
Here, Mom, I got one for you. Like, you know,
Yes.
You forgot about Tay Tay.
No, I didn't. I
You're
don't-
wearing her sweater probably, and you forgot about her.
No, I'm not.
Okay, sorry.
That's a new.
So Amy got to go to Taylor Swift, and I'd listened to Taylor Swift songs every day since. That was cool. It was a lot of fun. So I'll tell you what, hopefully over the last 16 minutes you guys have thought about things that made you happy throughout 2024, and hopefully some of those things come from our barn. Now, I did have a lot of moments. We talked for 50 minutes yesterday about things that made our year better, things that maybe changed our barn for the better. And we both talked about our top three, and you talked about Time Is On My Side being your number one virtually. Now, we started with Time Is On My Side because, he has the ability to change everything. And I touched on it this week. I touched on it more last night, actually. And what I mean by that is simple. Some of the most complex things in our barn is when to race at a line, when to race the horses, how to race the horses, how to stake the horses, how to train them back. These are all things, and I had great conversations over the last month with a number of people on both sides of the fence. I told everybody all the horses were getting 6 weeks, unless they needed more, which not many of them did. 6 weeks was the limit, and I had a ton of people, and it was always the same people that had been in the game forever that were adamant, Adeline, that were adamant that 8 to 12 weeks was necessary.
12 weeks.
Yep, 8 to 12
You're like
weeks.
starting over.
And that's the whole thing, is we've gone down that road 8 to 12 weeks. I've never seen a difference. And I believe, truthfully speaking, the 12-week limit, anything past 7 or 8 is wasted time.
Well, you can't.
And that's the thing, is that these are athletes, but when you look at baseball players, do you think baseball players are sitting on a couch for 3 months?
No.
They do the same thing they always do. They get up and work out every morning.
Yeah. But it's also important to note that, like, you don't have, there's not like a written rule. Of
Oh,
how to do
100%.
everything.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with giving a horse 3 weeks off in the middle of.
And I think that, and you hit it right on the head. That's what I was getting to, was that Time Is On My Side may have changed everything. Here's the thing. We know that the horses have got faster. Everything has changed so much in the industry. Yet, some of these hardened rules that we're talking about come from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And if you look, and I'd said this also, if you look at even up to a decade ago, well, White Tiger set a world record as a 2-year-old gelding on a 5/8 mile track. That was what, 6 years ago? It was 155 and 2, 55 and 1. That was subsequently broken in Philadelphia by a lot, by 2 seconds or 3 seconds. The Amigo horse broke it. But it wasn't that long ago. If you had a 2-year-old that could trot 55, you had a heck of a horse. Now you might have a grassroots horse, right? Gaslight Hall trotted in 55, and he was a grassroots horse.
Like a pacer, 2-year-old pacer.
Yeah, 49.
53. That's not even a Buckeye anymore.
No. Well, Country Dancing never won a state. She won in 53 flat on a 5/8 mile track, and that was good enough to win a 2-year-old maiden. That's what was good enough to win. So, you look at a horse like Memento Mori. a winner 51-4 this year. 10 years ago, that was insanity. No one would ever think a 2-year-old would trot that fast.
Well, I think the horses aren't the same as they were 20 years ago.
And that's the whole thing.
So you can't train a horse now how we used to do 20 years ago, and they're not even the same.
That is exactly what I was getting at. That's exactly what I was getting at, was that if the horses have changed so much, why hasn't any of the training, right? And that's the whole thing, is that I'm not saying we train them harder or faster, but I do think we can deviate from the norm of the past. And I had a gentleman from Europe message me and say, Anthony, that's not odd. We do that all the time over here. 6 weeks off, and they have gaps in their schedule. And that's what Time Is On My Side did, right? 2 things he might have changed. So every year I always get frustrated because most of our staking we pay into, we never use, right? We just never use it. It's there in case we need it. Hopefully we need it, but most of it never gets used. So you have the ultra-conservative people on the far right saying almost straight regional, and then just supplement if you can. But a lot of those stakes you can't supplement as a 2-year-old. The Breeders' Crown you can for sure. But they're saying that, right? Which there's credence to that. And then the people on the far left are saying, no, stake them whatever they need. This should be an investment that we tag on to the ownership of the horse. If you're doing your job right and you're buying the horse for less than what it should be worth, that money should be used to stake them, which I love that idea also. And then you have the common sense in between. I rely on Steve and Greg, and this year Randy, Rob, Dave, people that understand what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it. But I need everybody to understand also. There's as I said, there's credence to the right and to the left. On the left, Time Is On My Side the other day with his win on the 28th of December 2024. Won over $280,000 made this year. The bulk, the vast majority of the money he made was doing work at 50-1 or north of there. Now you guys know I hate sending our horses out when they can't win. Stake races are a little different, right? 3rd in the Adios, 2nd in the Milstein, won some sire stakes, did good all year long, and honestly, it had been for some bad timing, who knows what he would have made this year. So just because you have a horse that maybe, and all this, and it was funny because I wrote down the date, it all changed. January 18th, 2024, I got off the bike from winning with him that day, and I looked at Tim and I said, because remember, he won a maiden. The reason that we shut him down, we castrated him, turned him out, because James, he didn't really like him. He was polite about it, but he didn't really like him. And I'm not going to divulge what he said during the year and at the Adios and stuff. I beat James at the wire for 3rd with him at the Adios. James didn't think a ton of Time Is On My Side. We bought him first crop, Captain Crunch. They didn't really pan out for anybody the first year. Now, Gem Quality did, but everybody else that had one did not for the most part. So it was a struggle, right? He raced at 2. He won a race in 54. But truthfully, how many 2-year-olds? We just talked about how many 2-year-olds can face 54? 50? 100? He was in the middle of the road at best. We brought him back, trained him down, and I remember we qualified him, and he qualified good. And I remember James calling me and saying, "Why do you have this horse ready so early?" I said, well, I have to look at a number of things. What he is, what he isn't, what he could be. And then I also have to have that exit strategy kind of over here in the periphery. Where can we make the most money with Time Is On My Side? Obviously, racing in the overnights in the spring. That's where you can make the bulk of it. And he can probably put together a decent record. And if you don't think he's a decent horse, sell him, get whatever you can get. That was the whole playing field right there. Left to right. January 18th, I get off the bike and I said to Tim, this could be a good horse. I'm going to have to go home and revisit all his staking. Now, because we had him ready and we raced him before February 15th staking deadline, we had a month now to figure out how we were going to stake him. We raced him, rested him in February, brought him back for the 2nd series, won the 2nd series quite easily actually, 50 or 51. Raced him in the sire stakes. He did great all year long, and because of his schedule, we were able to rest him for 3 weeks here and there. This horse had 3 breaks this year. 3 breaks in 2024. By breaks, I mean time off. 3 blocks of time he had time off in 2024, and is as fresh right now, January 1st, 2025, as he was at any point in his career. So you look at that, it's far from traditional. So whether it be us being mindful of the staking opportunities for our horses and what they could be, I'm not saying we go far to the left and stake them and everything. No, I'm not doing that. But I am saying be mindful of what we could have and what we do have. And secondly, the training schedule, the training regimen of Time Is On My Side. Has it, could it, and will it change everything for us? Was he an anomaly? Was it, yeah, well, it worked for that horse, but it is not going to work for the vast majority of the rest. That's possible. There is not enough data to work with. But I guarantee you one thing. By the time 2025 is over, we'll have plenty of data to work with. Has Time Is On My Side changed the way we do business? I don't know. I know one thing. He gave me one hell of a ride this year. Just a nice horse to drive, nice horse to be with. And yes, it was heartbreaking when, it was terribly heartbreaking when I got parked in the Breeders' Crown Final, but I'm not apologizing. It's a race. Ava, just go in and tell Lauren we'll be in 1 sec, honey, will you?
Why?
I just want to finish this.
Yeah, but she's not doing it. We are.
I know, just tell her just so she's not worried about us. Yeah, you guys...
Just go in and start feeding the hay.
Oh, yeah, that, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Thank you. We'll be in 1 second, okay?
Okay, we're not going to be 1 second. So.
We're not going to be that long. We're at number 10. We can roll through them. But we're not doing it. We're not doing it under stressful situation. Sit back.
Okay, guys.
I appreciate it. Ollie, go in and start haying, buddy. You guys just start haying all the horses. And when you hay them, do me a favor. Just check and see if they don't have any water. We got to dump all the water. But if they have no water, make sure you give them water right away, okay? Thank you.
Do you want the hay just in their stalls or outside?
Yeah, just give them a flake of hay. Just throw. Oh, we'll set them out. You guys just go and give the horses hay.
Feed everyone hay.
Thank you.
In the middle, and this side. Okay.
Thank you. It's nice to have the kids old enough to do a little work.
Hey, you're not playing with cats till the horses are fed.
That's why Addie got out. There's two cats in there. Addie was going to jump out before we were even in park. So, Time Is On My Side may have truthfully changed everything. And I would love that. I would love to look at how we do things and see a vast difference between us and everyone else. We're always trying to do that.
What? Yeah, we got to fill them up with grain. Just stack them.
That's fine, honey. Don't worry. Just stack them up.
First.
So that was not my number 10, and I wanted to start with 10 because he meant so much to this list. Get over here, you. Your kids are learning to do some work. They're working hard. They never complained. They went in and got to just started working. Good for them. So that was my number 10 because it was important. Do you have anything to add about Time Is On My Side? Because you did last night. You had quite a bit to add.
I don't remember what I said.
Well, think about what you want to think about right now. Do you have anything to add?
I don't think so.
Just a real special horse, and as special as he was to us, that only pales in comparison to how he was for... You know, Sophie still comes in and does that horse. Every time I go to jump on the bike, she is there. She loves that horse to death. Because, obviously, she had the brother, right? But, you know, and that's an important thing. That was one thing we started our video with last night. But we'll finish it with it tonight, is talking about our staff and how helpful they are, because we are thankful for them. But being in business with people like Tim, Dominic, Harry, Jason mean a lot to us, and that was a good chunk of the video last night, was talking about everybody. I'm going to finish the video talking about our crew and how much they meant to us in 2024. But I'm going to continue on. We'll roll through it quick because the next 3 horses were all sophomores. They meant a lot to me, not because they were stake champions. One of them was, as a 2-year-old, but none of them were killers. But they were all the heart of this barn, the meat and potatoes.
Surprised you put Spitfire on there. I thought
he had a tremendous start of the year, but I did want to keep it to 10, right? And you make a good point. The Spitfires, the Looks Like Monies, these are horses that have put us on the map and done very, very well for us, and there's no reason they won't come back. The Looks Like Money that I raced last week, and I'll go as far as to say this, on Thursday they have him like 9-2. He will crush them on Thursday. That horse was good the other day, but most importantly, for him to go to a new place and win, he's soaring right now, and I think that Looks Like Money If Tim has him good, which he always does, has all the horses good, he'll be very, very tough on Thursday. So you have a Spitfire and Looks Like Money and all those horses, Patrick the Piranha, horse that meant so much to us. I don't want to leave them out. So they are worth mentioning. You're right. I appreciate it. And even Yo Mister, right? Horses that meant a lot to this barn. You can't turn your back on them just because they're a little flat right now. A horse like Spitfire overseas, there's no reason that he can't come back to be the horse he was. He didn't go away sick. He didn't go away lame. He didn't go away hurt in any way. He will come back to what he was before. He's only 5, and that's the other thing. People forget, like, oh, he's older now. Yeah. Sometimes, White Tiger did his best work at 6, 7. So it.
Then you sold him.
I knew that was coming. I probably shouldn't have went down that path, should I?
Well, his name comes up quite a bit when
you're
reminiscing and talking about world records and.
I do, and I appreciate everything that Tiger did for us. Much like Amy. I learned a long time ago, right? Amy is like, and I made this reference yesterday. You guys are like the teachers at the school, right? I'm the principal. I want to see our students graduate and go to Harvard and do well and do good in life. You guys remember their names. I remember the numbers. I remember the horses. I remember their equipment. I remember their quirks. But you remember the horses. And that's why it's hard when we sell a horse or whatnot. For me, it's just making a general manager move, right? For Amy, it's selling a horse she's had for a long time. So I get it. I understand it. But I am mindful and respectful of your position as much as you should understand the position I'm in. I have to do what's best for our barn. I don't see any horse as being our barn. I see the stable being hundreds and hundreds of clients and this vast, large ship sailing along, and we have to make sure that we keep it pointed due north. So, yes, you're right. Those aged horses mean a lot. I was going to start with the sophomores, but it is only fitting we started with the horses you talked about, Memory and Imagination, Irresistible Sun, Drebin. There's a horse, Drebin, who never made $1, not one stake dollar this year. It all came in overnight races, every nickel of it. And he ended up with $129,000 made, not Canadian, but $129,000 made this year. That's an incredible feat for a 3-year-old that never won a stake race. You look at Irresistible Sun had a tremendous year. I think he made half that or a little more, right? He had a great year. Pickpocket, won 2 Grand Circuit races at 2. He only made $50,000 or $60,000 as a 3-year-old. It just, and Memory and Imagination, the same thing. He made a little bit more, I think, because he did some racing at the start of the year. Last year, Arrowhead, I'd love to race him in that race at Plain Ridge this year. He's coming back really, really good. And I only trained him once. That was yesterday, and I didn't know how he'd be. No hobbles, no nothing. Open, happy bridle. When you guys hear me say open, happy bridle, it's just the bridle. No head check, ear hood. So he's seeing everything. Ear hood on, no boots, just trotting boots behind. Nothing else anywhere. Now he's wandering and being stupid like he always does, but when he had his mind to work, like that last quarter, he was moving really, really nice. So for me, as much as I want to celebrate Drebin, Memory and Imagination, Irresistible Sun, and Pickpocket, I'm kind of focused on Arrowhead too, right? My job is to focus on what's coming next. Yes, take a moment like today to reflect on what was, but always be focused on what might be. And that's always on the front part of my mind. So all those sophomores last year, Memory and Imagination was great, and I think will be great. He drew the 8-hole this week, of course. This will probably be his last start for a little while in Northfield. We'll start racing him at Miami Valley or Mohawk or the Meadows soon. We have some horses that are going in the sale this week, and we'll see how all of that plays out over the next little while. But Drebin, Memory and Imagination, Irresistible Sun, Pickpocket were incredible sophomores for us. Now, obviously, didn't have the year. Pickpocket did not have the year we wanted him to, but still had a good year. Had some good races, and I think the big picture for him is he owed nobody anything by the time we were done racing Pickpocket. I think he made $200. We sold him for 40 something and bought him for 40 something. So I'll take all the pickpockets you can give me. Now, the next horse I want to talk about was a horse that I've never actually driven. And I talked in my first video, I talked very vividly about Save America, a number of things. So every year we have clients that say, hey, do we have a horse for the Gold Cup? Now next year, Arson and Time Is On My Side are probably on that list. So we're not in a big hurry. We'll look around, but it's going to be tough to find 2 better than those 2. I'd ask Scotty to look around, a couple of other people. And 2 horses came up around the same time. Rock Shining Star, who Scotty loved, and Save America, who he liked. No, he just didn't get in last week. He raced flat. We were going to race him once or twice more, and if he didn't come to life, then yeah, we were going to turn him out for 2 or 3 weeks. So it could happen in a number of ways. Race him once or twice more, the next time he's also eligible. That will be his first week in the field. Or race him and he's a little bit flat and we turn him out. So again, a good point, because Rock Shining Star might be a little flat. I'll tell you who's not flat is Save America. Jeremy Smith told Jason last week, just a very, very nice horse to drive. The horse looked great. You're 3 wide, shove 3 wide, come into the half. You're 3 wide down the backstretch and get picked off by a horse kind of scurrying up the inside to beat you at the wire. The horse has just been, well, he's way outside his skis. What I mean by that is, the scouting report on Save America was he was fast, a little bit cowardly, but in the right setting could do some damage. I think most of that is correct, but the cowardly part we haven't seen, right? He has raced tremendous since the day we got him. Raced great for Scotty and Megan. We brought him here, brought him to the Gold Cup. He absolutely jogged for James. I think he come 26-4 on the end of it in Charlottetown, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm down to drive him. Draws the 8-hole. He's got speed at the gate. You know I'm going into there, right? So I was busy as I am all the time. You couldn't come down, right? Ava was there. I think Ollie had baseball. Oh, the next day, yeah, the ICBAs. That's right.
Because there was tornadoes, and that's why you didn't make it. Long story short, you didn't make his flight. Tornadoes.
You ruined my whole story.
Yeah, but I heard it last night, and it was like 7 minutes.
So you thought you'd ruin it?
Explaining why you missed.
Shh! You're not ruining my story. So I get to the airport because, in my mind, I booked a flight early because I wanted to fill my face full of egg rolls in Charlottetown before I went to the Gold Cup. So I get to the airport early. Everything's going great. As Amy said, there's tornadoes in the area. So they're delaying the flights. First delay comes through. I don't even care. Second delay. Third day delay. It's fine. We're getting there though, right? Yeah. We're just got to move everything around. Don't worry about a thing. So now it gets to the point where the egg rolls are in jeopardy. Another delay comes through. There goes the egg rolls, I guess. Maybe I can get somebody to pick them up for me, and when they pick me up, I can eat them on my way to the track. I'm still trying to salvage the egg rolls. It never has dawned on me that I'm not going to make the Gold Cup in Saucer. Another delay. Another delay. Now I'm starting to chew my nails a little bit. Now I'm starting to call Smitty. I'll make sure that somebody's there to grab me right away. Another delay comes in. Now it's, gee, Smitty, you might have to get somebody to post-braid this horse. I can still make it. I'm talking to management at Charlottetown. Talking to Lee Drake. I assume he's talking to the judges. Another delay comes through, and it is very, very close. I talked to the judges. Because remember they had the post time set at 11 o'clock this year. It's usually right at 12 o'clock. I said, is that 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock, but we're going to drag closer to 12, or is that a hard line? And he said, it's not 12. I said, okay. Another delay comes through. And now it dawns on me that regardless of what happens, I can't drive him in the Gold Cup. I did the quick math. It was about 16 or 17 minutes after the Gold Cup when I would land. And they took off. That was the last delay of the flight. I canceled my flight. I watched the race. I thought Adam drove the horse good. Now, it is worth noting. He drove the horse smart. The horse raced very, very good. I dare say I don't win the 4-hole going around the first turn. I would say the entire outlook of the race changed immensely when it was listed Adam Murner and not Anthony MacDonald, because there was a 0% chance.
Yeah, but imagine if he had drove the horse like that.
Oh, 100%.
And it didn't work out.
100%.
Yeah,
He had a lot on the line, and I don't blame him for what he did. He drove the horse the way he was supposed to drive the horse. I wasn't coming there to win the 4-hole. I can assure you of that. I remember a long time ago, I drove a horse for a gentleman. You know who owned the horse? Was half the horse was David from Campbellville. John's buddy, our buddy. Dave.
Shea.
David Shea. He owned half the horse with David Lumsden. And the horse is standing stud in PEI Terror or Stonebridge Terror. I'm driving him in the Gold Cup. I get the drive on him. I have the 9-hole driving, sitting behind Tyler Moore. He wins it with 18 that year. Tyler goes out of there, but Stonebridge Terror would make breaks. You had to watch him. You couldn't just blast him into the turn. I get away like 5th or 6th. Jonathan Drury comes first over, and he's hanging out there first over. The horse he's chasing him. The horse is stalled. I wheel 3 deep in front of the stands, and I clear them, and I come right at 18. We go toe-to-toe all the way down the backstretch. He wins the race. I'm 3rd, maybe 4th. And I think Jonathan come back on to beat me, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember David Lumsden was known to have a little bit of a temper back then. And I didn't know him very well, but I could see him coming along. You know, you ever see a crowd of people, but you can pick out the person you're looking for like that? I can see him coming down. And he was mad. He said, what was that? I said, what was what, sir? And he goes, you 3 wide in front of the stand. I think that horse did come back on and beat me for 3rd. I said, Mr. Lumsden, did you come here to finish 2nd? No. I said, I could have followed Jonathan Drury the whole way, wheeled that horse 3 wide down the backstretch, and been a closing 2nd. Did you come here to finish 2nd? No. Neither did I. And that's why I moved him when I did. And that was it. The fight was over. There was no more argument. In fact, I think he went and got us both a beer. It's the way it was. And Save America, the victory of Sintra is still fresh in my bones, and it was a great feeling. A really, really good feeling. And I love winning races with all our horses, but winning a race like the Gold Cup, and people thought that, and maybe it was because I'm from PEI, I suppose, but it was a tremendous feeling, and I just thought that all things being equal, we were the winners of the Gold Cup this year. Not from the 8 hole. I mean, if we drew 6 or 5, or if the race had shook out a little bit differently, we were winners. And I wish the horse had a won for Adam Murner. I really would have been the first one to congratulate him. But it did bother me a little bit when I couldn't make the Gold Cup. But that horse there has been such a great addition to the stable. We've been lucky for a long time, right? Looks Like Money, Mister, Patrick the Piranha, Save America, and even the Rock Horse is a nice horse. To make these additions to our stable has been tremendous. Every year it seems like we get 1 or 2, right? And I hope that trend continues. So Save America, and then we talked about some of our rookies that Amy and I joked about, and my number 6, who to drive last year was almost my number 1 by the end of the year, and Amy always loved her. Gorgeous package. Here's a horse, and another thing, I love when horses like this make these types of lists, because it reminds people how cool this industry is. It isn't always the most expensive horses that win, right? It isn't always the same drivers that win every time. They win a lot. They don't win every time. A horse like Gorgeous Package, we virtually picked her up from a dumpster after a sale. I think we got her from On Gate or something, the On Gate sale, for next to nothing. Yeah, and we went to enter her. Talk about staking. We did stake her very conservatively because she was terrible training down. And to the point where you said what? What did you say?
Don't ever put me on her ever again.
For the set list, Amy wanted to never go with her again. She just wandered and just borderline schizophrenic, just a lunatic all the time. See everything, dance sideways. She wouldn't steer straight. She'd bounce around. She was just like a lunatic all the time. But by the time we got her to the races and got her polished up, and even in her first start, she blew that last turn. But she was smart enough to realize what she did, and she paced as hard as she could. Her first lifetime start was one of the most impressive finishes I saw all year. She blew the turn, and the horse wasn't stopping on the front end. She ran that horse down and beat him at the wire. That was her competitive nature in a nutshell. And she took that with her all year long. She was such a competitive filly and such a really, really nice filly to drive. I loved everything about her and every second of racing her. Yes?
More, like the entire middle saddle already has food. Like in the stall.
Like hay?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if they don't need hay, you don't have to give. Just make sure everybody has enough. Remember, it's 10:38 in the morning. They don't get fed till 5, so make sure every horse has enough hay for 6 hours. All right? Maybe they're learning a lot today. I'm smart about us that. So, Gorgeous Package come out and ended up being...
Are you supposed to help us?
Addie's 5.
What do you want her to do?
Help us feed?
I never made you do any of this when you were 5.
It's all right. Just let her play with the cats. Our little union girl. So Gorgeous Package, by her last start, I remember halfway through the season saying, this is one of the nicest horses to drive She's just an absolute
Just gonna have a nap
sweetheart.
over here.
Get over here.
Oh my god.
She's an absolute.
44 minutes.
Yes,
You're
we're
on 6.
We're gonna run through the other ones quick though. Relax.
You said that on your...
So, gorgeous package. Amy loved her. I loved her. Just a beautiful horse from the start. Other horses that were kind of long shots. You went with Arrowhead Hanover a lot last year, right?
I didn't like him because you...
Because what?
You sold my horse and then made me buy shares of that one.
So Arrowhead Hanover came with a bittersweet taste for Amy. Now this horse, we talked quite a bit about that horse last night. There's only ever been, in the history of me training babies, I can tell you 2 horses that worked harder than any other horse I've ever had in May. And that was only because they were dogging it, being stupid, being green, being dumb, just doing things they shouldn't be doing, but exhibited an immense amount of talent. It was right there on the surface. They just would not put it all together. And there's 2 horses that I remember very, very clearly working harder than anybody ever in the history of the stable for that month of May leading up to their staking season. Arrowhead Hanover was one, and White Tiger was the other one. Those 2 horses put in a lot of work. And I was very, very happy with the way they both raced it too. And at the end of it, that win in Delaware was very cool for Arrowhead Hanover. He made one mistake all year long, and that was he made a break at the gate in the Pennsylvania final, and that cost us. He would have done well that day, I think, too. Caught me off guard. He never made a break, and where he put that step in at the gate, which ended up in a break, he's done that before, but he always kind of pushed through. And for whatever reason, that night and that day, he just didn't. And it's funny because he'd a chance to do well in the Pennsylvania final, and White Tiger that year was second beat ahead. Remember, he just got beat at the wire in the final. Osteric beat him with Yannick at the wire. And I just can't wait to race this horse as a sophomore. He just looks so... We were joking about he had like cookies or something, and he ate 8 of them. Eight of them. Just being a slob. But on the track yesterday, the horse was amazing. My number 4, which you pointed out yesterday, Aunt Lily, the Next Generation race was great. And again, another learning horse. We talked about Arrowhead. We talked about the horses making breaks. And I talked about in both my videos, I had a great conversation with Steve and a couple other clients over the last little while. They said, the horses are making breaks. Steve's concern was Elisa Hanover. And I said, Steve, I only care about work ethic, attitude, and ability right now. I don't care about the breaks. They mean nothing. The only 3 things I'm looking for right now: work ethic, attitude, and ability. That's it. I don't care about the other stuff.
You need to build some muscle, and then their breaks will
exactly. That the breaks, when I see, and this is how I explained it to him, when I see a horse making a break while advancing, that's a horse that was trying to do more than they could do. There's nothing wrong with that. They will learn from that. It's the ones that are backpedaling, making breaks that you're like, all right, I got to work with this horse to have it push forward. Like Jailbird Jog was doing, right? Yeah. Come out of the turn, soften up, box her gate up because she was about to touch herself and make a break. Well, you got to help the horses through that because that becomes a thing that's hard to break. So yesterday, took the bell boots off her in case she was sticking with them, put the trot and hobbles on her, and poor Eric went out and trained her in a monsoon yesterday. Philly looked amazing. That's our job. But those 3 core things are the only things I'm looking for right now. And when it came to Aunt Lily, no one wanted to go. I joked about it in both the videos. She's the fat kid on the playground. No one picked her. When it came to, hey, who wants to go with Lily? It was never anybody wanted to go with Lily all year. You didn't. Jason ended up going with her a lot, McGinnis. But no one was like, I'll go with Lily. No one wanted to. Because she'd always make breaks, and it was almost, I joked about it yesterday, it was almost like you could hear her snicker at you when she made a break. She just liked to annoy you.
She was very inconsistent because, like, remember the times I went with her a couple of times and she was quiet, and I was like, she's like, I can't get her to pick the bit up. And then like,
I went with her and she stopped being quiet.
Yeah, like, and then it was like, I can't go there because my arm's out. So
yeah, but she changed a lot from January to June, and by the time we got to June,
big, too.
Yeah, by the time we got to June, you could see there was something there, And in the opposite, she didn't need hard work in May. Very soft May because we'd worked her hard throughout the spring. Just let her gather herself, pick herself up, so to speak, in May. And Ronnie Wren's first start, he drove her in Freedom Hill. We were at a baseball tournament. I'll never forget. I was sitting in Guelph watching Ollie play baseball, and Aunt Lily jogged, and Freedom Hill jogged. I think it was the other one. Freedom Hill won the first, and then Aunt Lily. They won the double that day. And I remember Ronnie Wren sent me a message right after. He goes, feel free to stay home all summer long with these two. He said, these are two nice fillies. And he was right. They both had great years. And Aunt Lily, I love the horses that teach us as a group, right? Arrowhead, changing the way we train them. Aunt Lily in reference to Elisa. And Steve's not the only one. Other people also asking about horses making breaks. You know, I had Daniel say, "What, you know, Leland Hanover, what do you think?" I said, he's
way behind.
He's literally just gated. And these breaks that you see, people forget, like Arson was not great gated when he was young. He would make a lot of breaks when he was starting to train down. And you just have to understand it's part of the process. The only things that matter right now are the 3 pillars that I told everybody about. That's it. Nothing else matters. Those horses have a good work ethic, have a good attitude, and have some ability. And obviously that runs hand in hand with pedigree in many cases. With Gorgeous Package, it did not. Right? With your filly, Judy's Money, horribly bred. First 2 dams have nothing made. The 3rd dam is mildly strong, although all the money and speed, even in the 3rd dam, I've never heard of those horses before, although they made money and speed. So Judy's Money has nothing supporting her, but as of right now, abundance of the 3 that we're looking for: ability, work ethic, and attitude. And the sky's the limit for a horse like her. Gorgeous Package also, she had some back class to lean on, but it wasn't on the front end. It wasn't right there in your face. So anybody can be anything at any given time when it comes to the horses, and that is why a horse like Aunt Lily is so important, because you can draw comparisons, right? For Steve with Elisa, you can say, just go back and watch the videos of Aunt Lily and Elisa. Don't worry about those breaks. They mean nothing at this time of year. And as I said, and also, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you, there's no half-mile tracks in Pennsylvania. Elisa Hanover's a Pennsylvania bred. So there's that. Arson, we just talked about Arson. He was such a good, and has been such a good horse, and you were surprised. Danny didn't know who he was. Right? He couldn't quite place him. I said, he made $400,000. He won him 150-1 in Philadelphia, Poconos, Oak Grove, and paced 48-4, 49-3, 49-3, 3 different times at Lexington, and was a winner in 150-1 at Lexington also. Only missed 2 checks in his life. They were both with Scotty, and that's not a dig with Scotty, but as a 2-year-old, he missed one of his first starts when we raced him in the Sire Stakes. And then in the final in Corbin, he drew the outside, got away at the back, not really his forte, and ended up 6th. But aside from that, the horse has had an incredible run. And I told them, they said, it's not ringing any bells. This is Captain Treacherous. His mother, Western Montana's in the Hall of Fame. You know, his sister won the Breeders' Crown twice. No, nothing. Okay. Anyway, he's in Ontario right now, and that came about because he asked where Time Is On My Side was. I said, well, we're going to keep Time Is On My Side around here. I was tempted to send him to Mohawk, but I sent Arson there instead. He said, who's Arson? And that's how all that happened. So, again, here's a horse that made as much or more than any horse we've ever had. I think only Mounds probably made more than him. Tiger, I guess, over a span of 6-7 years. But as a 2- and 3-year-old, not many horses have. And he's just been such an incredible animal. And I think he's going to be an incredible animal for quite a while for us. And make no mistake, if he's struggling a bit at Mohawk, if there's not a proper class for him, we can send Time Is On My Side home and bring Arson over here. We have the ability to do that because talented horses can race anywhere. So Arson just had such an incredibly great year for us and meant so much for this barn also. Now, our top 3, obviously we started with Time Is On My Side. So he's not in 3rd. He is, but he isn't. The 2 horses that made the biggest impact this year are obviously 2 horses that made the biggest impact on the world stage. What I mean by that is won big races. Now, I'm actually going to start with Memento Mori. He was my number 1. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? So we talked about, I'd asked you yesterday, just put you on the spot and said, who's your favorite horse? Right now in the barn, you said Rose Run Bobby. And then you asked me, and I was actually caught flat-footed. I couldn't think of one horse that just stood out But a horse that I like a lot is Neuromancer. And it has nothing to do with Memento Mori. In fact, my concerns about him is he looks nothing like Memento Mori, acts nothing like Memento Mori, but he's a bigger, smoother, stronger version of Memento Mori. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means he'll do anything. He might just be a dud. Who knows? But he is a good-looking horse, and I like everything about him. Now, when it came to Maury, again, a learning horse. He was a mongrel when we bought him, when we broke him. It would not do anything right, just the rudest, most ignorant little pig you've ever done anything with. We castrated him, and in January, you could see there was something there. A little bit later, something a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then he came to life, right? We knew that... Okay. Thanks for the update. So, you could tell by May there was something there. I think it was earlier than that. It was even maybe the end of March. We were now starting to tout him as our best horse. And then in April and May, and then, Memento Mori was Memento Mori. But it is also worth noting, when you talk about a horse, since the inception of horse racing, there has never been a faster 2-year-old gelding.
What?
The blue door won't open.
Why do you need to open the blue door?
Because the sky said on the Tesla on outside in the blue.
Okay, we'll be in a second to open the blue door, okay?
Just wait a sec.
So, Memento Mori, if you would have said to me at any point, hey, that little tiny horse down there that was rude and he's now training, going, yeah, he's coming. He's going to be the fastest 2-year-old gelding of all time. Easy now. You're going to have to go get drug tested. It just would make no sense, right? He was a nice horse. He trained down good. And when we got Memento Mori to Kentucky, we knew he was good. But again, you're not thinking world record. You're thinking, geez, it'd be nice if he could do real good down here.
He's so small.
He's so small. He did great in Oak Grove. And then he got to Lexington. And I remember having a number of conversations. Scott didn't think he was that fast. He knew he was a bridesmaid. He wanted to maybe keep him a little lower so that he could do well. And as far as the Breeders' Crown or any major stake races are concerned, it was up in the air. Scott's much more conservative. He was thinking Corbin. I was leaning to the left, especially after what he did next. It would be impossible for him to set the world record and then forego the Breeders' Crown. That would be insanity, in my mind, anyway. As it turns out, in hindsight, maybe it wouldn't have been, but it would have been at the time. So he goes out, sets a world record. He wasn't the favorite. He wasn't even one of the favorites. He's 6 or 7 to 1. I think he was 3rd or 4th favorite. And he goes out and he wins in 51-4 after running over a wheel. So that's how focused he was at that point in his career. That's not a dig on Scott either. Listen, we've all been there.
I'm interested to see if he can race without hobbles this year.
We almost took them off him in Kentucky. They wouldn't let us. So in Kentucky,
she's back.
What do we got now?
When are you guys going to come in?
5 minutes.
You just wasted another 20 seconds.
Come in right now.
Well, we'll be there in a second. Bye-bye. We did go to qualifying without the hobbles on, and the judges said no because he'd never raced without them.
Oh.
So they didn't have any lines to look at. They weren't going to let him go right into a stake race without it. So we just never had time to really take them off him. But I doubt he'll wear them this year. We'll see. We'll see soon enough. He's coming back. I guess he'll come back first of the week as soon as Jacob can bring. We have 3 horses left out there, and we're going to bring them all back in at that point. And the number 1 horse on my list was Maury, but I switched it just now to Tactical Mounds simply because she meant so much to the barn. Why are you guys continuing to come out here? What's up, honey?
We didn't. We finished.
You gave him water?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start
Check.
back.
Go down and check
They told
all.
us to feed 'em.
So
Yeah,
take.
we checked all of them.
Okay, so take them out of the stall. We're going to change all of. Just walk in, take their water bucket out, leave it in front of their door, and we're going to change all their waters. Thank you. That's what you do, I assume. No. Throw them out. Do you hang them back in and water them with the hose, or do we do it by bucket? No. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's
So-
different when there's a bunch of us.
Yeah.
You can fill them up and put them in.
Whatever. So Tactical Mounds, and the reason I picked her number 1 is I keep coming back to those images of Megan coming back to the winner's circle, bawling her eyes out, right? And she had said to me, this is the type of horse that makes you as a trainer. This is almost referencing this was the pinnacle of her career. And I said, and I had to remind her, it might have been the pinnacle of your career now, but there's more to come, and hopefully it will. And with Megan and Scotty, I mean, they did such a great job with that horse, and she cares for the horses so much. It makes you stop and realize what you miss sometimes. You know, I remember we talked about this, the race she won on Hamiltonian Day as a 3-year-old. I was so focused on what I was doing at the Meadows that day. I was sitting at a table, and I was hearing the TV. I wasn't even watching the race. I wasn't quite listening to the volume. Norm Parker looks at me and goes, "Hey, isn't that your filly?" And I look up, and it was the day she was parked the whole way. Leaves out, he's out. I said, "Oh, that's not good." She's out the whole way, and then she wins the race. But I never even noticed she was racing because there was just so much going on. And I guess that's kind of a metaphor of how our life is all the time, is that you have to train yourself to stop and pay attention to the little things, or you miss them, right? I think we all go through that, right? Everybody has regrets. Oh, I wish I would have saw my son play baseball more. I wish I'd have been to my daughter's soccer game more, or volleyball games, or cheer, or whatever. Everybody, if you ask anybody that's old enough to know, they always feel, I know my dad did, and it bothered me to no end. He said he wished he had been to more of my baseball games. I thought he was at every one. I didn't know he missed any, to be honest. And when you see Megan, when you see that storyline, it really makes you take notice. Can I help you? You go back in there. I'm going to be in a second.
No, the windows, they won't open.
Okay, I'll open it in a second. Thank you. I'm not
Don't.
She's waiting for me to do
I
it.
know.
I know what she's doing. So as I told you guys, we're going to end our video. The biggest highlight is the same highlight every year, and that's our help, right? We have Harry, who has done and continues to do a great job for us in Ontario. And although Nellie's not with him anymore, she's gone back to school. Giselle, is that her name? Giselle? She seems like a nice lady. I met her. And Bob, who's been with us forever, off and on. A decade off and on. Bob, cool, is still there. And they do a great job in Ontario. Then you go over to Dominic and how hard he works. You know, Dom and everybody in his barn works incredibly hard. You know, you have Michelle. We lost Emily. Her and Preston went out west. So we have Michelle, who's back with us now. Tyson, Cindy, Johnny, Danny, my old buddy Danny. You know, I said last night, Teresa's back with us too. I love when our former employees come back to work for us. It makes me feel like we're doing the right thing, that they enjoyed working with us and wanted to come back. And then a guy like Danny, who's been with me a very, very, very long time, off and on, and just a very smart, intelligent horseman, a friend, and a guy that I have a lot of respect for. I told you last night, I watched him win the Lobster Carnival Pace, is what it's called, in Summerside. And there's Ty, and I was there with Mark. I watched those races as a kid, and he was winning those major stake races. And you know, him and Allison have been friends and are friends and are great people. And everybody in Ontario means a great deal to us, and the time and effort they put in. You know, we talk about the Arsons, we talk about the Aunt Lilies, and all the horses that meant so much and did so much for us. All the work that was put into those horses were put in by people, right? Not me, not Amy, maybe off and on, but full-time caretakers. And without those people, and without you, none of this is possible. Go to Ohio. Let's see if we can get everybody in Ohio. And Jason Shedrow, you have his fiance Carrie and Lauren. They're there doing Jason's horses. Chuck rides mostly for them. And then in the middle, we have Michelle and Scott, who work in the far end with Chelsea. Kaylee, Cordon work here. Kathy, Eric are back with us now for this year again, did such a tremendous job in Kentucky. Great people. And then on our side, we have Kicking Carla. Carla's tough. She got kicked and broke her arm about a month ago, and like couldn't wait to get back in the barn. It happens. I get kicked last year and was fortunate enough to just end up with some pretty good bruising. Carla got it in the forearm, cracked her forearm. But back in the barn, we have a couple of gentlemen from Venezuela that help us out, great people. I learned their names last night, Domingo and Gabrielle. And then we have in the back, we have Allie and Sean Lawson, who's been a great pickup also, came from Western Canada to come here and help us. Very thankful for them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't always say you. Amy, one, make sure that you guys know I'm always on the go. I'm at the meadows. I'm here. I'm there. I'm somewhere. But our kids have baseball, gymnastics, dance, cheer. Every morning, Amy's in the barn working with the horses. She was bugging me to come to the barn today. I would just as soon say, hey, Lauren, Jason, you guys figured out, get the horses hay and watered. But Amy wanted to come here also and make sure we check on all the horses, because I, too, forget about how important that is sometimes. I, too, forget that we have to check their legs, check their bandages, make sure the horses are okay, make sure there's no temperatures. Addie, go in the barn.
I'm coming right now. I'm coming.
So, when you look at the stable, here's the broad strokes of how the stable.ca works. You, our clients, own all the horses. We take our job very, very seriously. We have all our workers that work their butts off doing it right. We have Jason, Eric, Dominic, Harry, that work their butts off to make sure that the horses look right on the track, bring any concerns, especially with the babies anyway, to myself and to you. We change the gear, we put the work in, we put the time in, we train the horses. And then if we all do our job well, and the horses stay sound, and they stay healthy, then we have luck, right? That's what goes into the stable. And videos like this, I love making videos. I don't care if it's an hour and 7 minutes. I love making videos like this because it means a lot to me that you guys allow us to be part of your life, and vice versa. And I truly appreciate that. So my highlights of 2024 start and finish with you. Start and finish with you. They start and finish with our kids and all the horses that we race every single year. So for me and for you, I hope you guys had a wonderful 2024. It is now 2025, and I cannot wait to get back to work and start rolling through the newest year that we're all in together. Have a wonderful 2025. I hope we have lots of luck, and I hope we have a great time together, because it certainly was a great 2024. Do you have anything to add? Nothing. Nope. You've been talking this whole time.
I know. I'm so glad you made me sit here. Could have been done.
Stop it. I will talk to you all soon. Have a great New Year's Day. Spend it with your family. Take some time. Reflect for yourself.
Reflect for an hour and 7 minutes.
You guys have a great New Year's Day. Take care, everybody.